And yeah, it was funny for me. But then I got a chance to go for my graduation to Singapore for 3 years. And at that time, I decided this is the time I want to make a change for myself. I want to be the man who I really desire to be. A socially acceptable guy. And a high value person. But before I decode the dynamics behind the dating and social scenario in India, I would like to give you a little insight about my story. So this was one incident that happened with me. It was my first time in a nightclub. I'm sure you guys have been to a nightclub before, so you know how it goes. The lights were dim, people were dancing, and there was so much crowd that I felt out of place. Mind you, I was just 17 years of age at that time. I did not even have a legitimate ID card, but somehow I got in. And I was standing on the corner, feeling completely out of place, and I see this beautiful girl standing right across the bar. So I decided I would make a change for myself, right? So I gathered all my courage, and I approached her. I said the most interesting thing a man could say to a woman, which is, "Hey." And to my surprise, the conversation lasted for about 2 hours. I felt this deep connection with her. It was like love at first sight for me. But then I was wrong. So she excused herself and she wanted to go to the washroom at this point. So being a gentleman I am, I waited for her for about half an hour. She came back with a man who was 70 years of age, kind of resembled something like Colonel Sanders on the KFC chicken buckets, as you see. And at this time, I was totally broken down. I was depressed. I did not know how did he come. So I went over there asking an explanation, and she shooed me off like a stray dog. So this was my saturation point, guys. I was totally crushed. And at this point, I decided, I'm not going to see back. I'm going to develop my personality to a point where I'm a high-value person. Which brings me to my next point. Qualities of a high-value person. First comes the purpose. Guys, we follow the same daily routine every day in our life. We have the same chores day to day. It's like our life has literally boiled down to work. One second. Sleep, work, repeat. But wait, guys. We forget about the main purpose in our life. Because we don't know. Every day we do the same routines. So let me tell you about my purpose in life. My purpose in life is to inspire and help others achieve their potential. And that's what keeps me going. That's what keeps me awake. Next comes to self-actualization. How many of us really know what energy we want in our lives? How many of us really understand ourselves? I mean, how many of us really know what kind of energy is hampering our success in life? Let me give you an example real quick. Like, some people are dependent on intoxicants, like alcohol, weed, or sleeping pills. It is hampering their success in life, but they don't know about it. Some people are in dysfunctional relationships, just because they think that they don't deserve any better. Which brings us to set boundaries. Have you ever been in a social situation where you want to say no, but you can't because of social pressure? I mean, are you a people's pleaser? Do you follow everything that everyone says? Or do you value your own beliefs above everyone else's? The reason I'm asking you all these questions is because these questions they serve as a catalyst to your psychological growth and ultimately define whether you're a high-value person or not. So as a recap, a high-value person is always on his purpose. No matter what kind of temptations he faces, he never deviates from his path. A high-value person knows his boundaries well defined. Anything that gives him negativity or that hampers his success, that hampers his path to self-mastery, he cuts it down, no matter what. As you know, our words can lie, but our body does not. For all you Shakira's fan in the audience, you can add hips to the list. But our body does not lie. What does our body language signifies? It signifies congruency to your thoughts, words, and actions. For example, if I gave my talk like this, my thoughts, words, and actions are not congruent. So you would not be engaged enough. Which brings me to voice tonality. Now guys, voice tonality is a very broad term. And I want you to literally analyze a social situation after this seminar. Now your voice really needs to come out from your inner being, from your core. Not from your mouth, but from your inner being and your core. Which brings me to fashion and clothing. Now, wearing the right 2 minutes guys. Wearing the right clothes in the right event obviously helps you develop your confidence because you're more comfortable in the situation. Ill-fitted clothing. Now guys, these days I see a lot of people at different situations, different social interactions, borrowing clothes from their fathers, brothers, friends, and it's ill-fitted. And I mean, people don't really focus on it much, but it shows, guys. It really shows. So do not do this. I mean, you can still borrow, but make sure that it fits right. Next, you can go to wear clothes that suit the occasion. Being a restaurant owner myself, I see people coming to my restaurant, which is a fine dining restaurant, in flip-flops, which is not acceptable. There's a dress code for a reason, and that is the reason is to make you look smart, so that the restaurant owners the restaurants can say, you know, we have a good crowd. I've seen people going in clubs in sports shoes, which is not acceptable at all. Moving on to stay informed about the latest fashion trends and experiment. Now, it happens with everyone, right? We go past a store, we see this specific cloth or a dress, and we're not able to buy it because we want to buy it, but we're not sure if we can carry it. Guys, if your gut feeling tells you to buy it, you should buy it. Reason being, step out of your comfort zone and expand your wardrobe as well as yourself. Did you guys know that attraction for men and women works differently? Okay, let me give you a hypothetical example. For men, think about attraction for men as a light switch. All of you guys over there, you will be able to relate to this. A light switch. You see a pretty girl passing by, you're attracted, right? But for women, it's not the same. Women focus more on the subtle layers of interaction. As the interaction intensifies, the attraction intensifies. What we do wrong, guys? Most of the men focus on the material context of the interaction. What should we say next? How to impress? What do we do next? While women don't focus on this at all. Women focus more on the sub-communications, the body language, the facial expressions, the hand gestures, eye contact, everything like that. For a woman, it's more important that a man makes them feel a wide variety of emotions rather than a default set of emotions. The next topic is the strong first impression. You meet so many people in your day-to-day life. How many of them do you remember at night when you're going to sleep? Probably a few, because they left a strong first impression. They stand it out, that's why you remember them. And what made them stand out is what I'm going to discuss next. Be at ease. Guys, you're just dealing with humans. It's just a human interaction. You're not dealing with monsters, no one's going to eat you up. So you should be at ease, be at comfort. Don't be nervous. People have their highs and lows like you do. Don't put anyone on a pedestal. Fully express yourself. Do not hold anything back. Do not think how to impress. Once you're thinking about how to impress, you're filtering yourself because you're only saying something that is going to impress the other person. Do not do that. Fully express yourself. Give them the real experience of you. Use your body language, your facial expressions to your advantage in this by fully expressing yourself. Next, we come to the law of state transference. I want you guys to pay real attention to this. The law of state transference states that in a human interaction, or in any interaction in this case, whatever emotions you are feeling is whatever emotions the other person is feeling as well. For example, you take a dog, you throw a stone at a dog. The dog will definitely not shower you with its love. It'll run away or it'll bite you. Because you're throwing a stone, that's a negative emotion. So you're adding negative emotions to that, right? And the dog will give you negative emotions as well. So whatever emotions you are feeling, the other person will feel as well. Which brings me to the ball of energy. This is an interesting concept, guys. Now I want you to imagine an interaction. Once you're interacting with someone, there's a ball. I want you to imagine there's a ball of energy exists between you two. And to that ball of energy, you only empower it with positive emotions. You do not give any negativity. You create the sense of security, comfort, and that's all. And guys, as I told you about the law of state transference, when you feel that the ball of emotions between you two is at its peak, when you feel the peak of your emotions, you know the person who you're conversing to is at the peak of their emotions. And at that time, you're the most relatable. And at that time, you can go in for the contact information. You can ask their numbers, whatever you like, right? Email, numbers, whatever suits you. Moving on to solid phone numbers. Now, how many guys have you been to social interactions? You got that number, but you don't know what to do, how to proceed, and how to transform into a meeting. That's the most common question that people ask me. How to transform that number into a meeting. And I tell them, she met you. Were you special? Were you different? Or were you like the other guys who she meets every day? But if you don't stand out, guys, that phone number is not a solid phone number. Moving on, emotionally engaging interaction. So for a solid phone number, you need an emotionally engaging interaction. People need to invest in that interaction emotionally. And not only you guys. If you invest too much from one side, then it's not an interaction, because an interaction is always from both the ends. So you need to understand that you need to invest in that interaction, and you need to make the other person invest. Now don't be gimmicky about this, don't be fake about it. Be real and truly express yourself. And how you need to do this is just by that ball of energy, keep on adding positive emotions. And once people see that you're adding those positive emotions, they'll add these positive emotions too. They'll not hold themselves back. Which brings me, be clear to your intent. Now let me ask you a question. How many guys in this room have been in the dangerous friend zone? I mean, all of us have. We don't have to lie about it. And have you guys ever wondered what's the reason behind it? Guys, the reason behind it is because you were not clear in your intent. For you, it might be a date, but for the other person, it's just a meeting, right? And how to be clear in your intent? Use the power of touch, but don't overdo it, or else you'll land up in jail. And make sure the other person is comfortable, right? You don't want to make the other person feel uncomfortable. So how you do it is you've got to read the body language, because the body does not lie. So you know whether the person is interested in you or not. And if it's not, you don't proceed. Moving on to, the text message. What should be a first text message? This is also one of the most common questions. So this is my first text message with someone I recently met. And hey, I'm the man of your dreams, who you met inside the club. So this is man to woman. I'm not being a friend over here. Man of your dreams, right? I'm not being a friend over here. I'm not trying to pretend. It's funny and it's witty. It's not like a simple hey. It's standing out. And then I sent her this ugly photo. I hope this is not the man of anyone's dreams. But yeah. So I sent this ugly photo. It's funny and witty. It stands out. And then she says, hey there, you seem to have been following the 48-hour rule. Now guys, I want you to know there is no such thing as a 48-hour rule. So I'm maintaining my frame. I'm saying, and I see you have been patient. You've been counting hours. And that's all. That's the first message. It stands out. Funny and witty. Maintaining frame. Moving on to the date. Now, let me tell you, a high-value person is always on his or her purpose. They don't ask questions, they make statements. They know how important their time is. And you should let the other person know how valuable your time is. Like, you could be doing anything at that moment. You could be anywhere in the world doing anything you want, but you're spending time with them. And once you're able to convey this, ladies and gentlemen, you have yourself a date. Now, coming to my venture of Thebrothing. So, we recently started this venture, Thebrothing, to help people with personality development. We help people in every aspect of their life and to synchronize it with their work as well. So I would like to show you a little video of what kind of lifestyle we aim for over here. And could you play the video, please? Thank you, guys. Playing the video now.